Yo, what's going on? All right, bet we in here. It's been a minute, fam. What's going on? I see Carol in the building. Janae, what's going on? So we gonna talk some healing tonight. I definitely have some things to say about the show and everything like that. Cause y'all know I tuned in, but want to discuss just healing, period, and check in on how people are doing, stuff like that. One thing I definitely want to talk about is the importance of healing being consistent, making sure that we don't leave it behind. We don't get to a point where we feel as though the healing is over with, or we have reached that pinnacle point to where we're already healed up and we're ready to move forward. There's many different levels of the healing process. There's many different levels of just maturity and growth, period. But especially if you have gone through some troubling times, if you have gone through specific traumas, if you have been abandoned, if you have been heartbroken, if you have endured any of these challenges and any of these things growing up or subsequently throughout your life, these things leave impacts. These things leave scars, and there's a process to healing and removing the different layers, but it takes consistency. And it's for those of you who don't know, I've been in the mental health field for a long time, but I guess to sum it all up, I would consider myself a mental health consultant, and I focus on healing abandonment trauma. Abandonment trauma is the focus of how I help people to heal using strategies and a framework that I have come up with and developed over time, that I've used on myself, because it's been hard for me to find anybody who has not experienced some form of abandonment growing up. And it affects the way that we think. It affects the type of relationships that we get into, the people that we choose, the reasons we choose them, the underlying energy that connects us to people, which is why we always, hear things like, soul ties and these deep connections that are really hard for us to get out of. And we always find that in our relationship timeline, we find that this different people who seem to hate us, or seem to want to torture you in some kind of way. Shout out to everybody coming into the room. I see HRT Coach, what's going on? I see Little Fluff Ball, what's going on? Italian Flavor, I see Trina in the building, what's going on? I see Mo in the building. Good to see y'all, man. It's been a while. But yeah, so we live with the memories of these different things that happen, but we kind of want ourselves to get over things that we may not be ready to. And the way that I have approached it is to create very easy and simple, it's going to take some work, but very simple strategies to get you to that next level, layer by layer, strategy by strategy, as you master it. And I'm going to be talking about that on my upcoming in my upcoming webinar. So definitely click the link in my bio if you want to be a part of that. I'm going to be giving the strategies. I'm going to be giving the background. And I also, this is my third one so far. So all of them that have been great. I've had some interesting scenarios come up in these webinars, and they, I like to give people the space to give their real situations, because, although my strategies work, I like to hear the specific scenarios so I can kind of give pointers and direction and stuff like that. And man, when you get to hear what people are actually going through on a day-to-day basis, it humbles me to even be a part of that process. But it just seems like things get harder and harder, as we move forward. So I try to be a source of healing, so this life thing can not only be easier, but you can become the person you want to be. Choose the types of people that you want to choose. Have the type of partner that actually reciprocates your love energy. And before I get into the show and stuff like that, I want to talk about just reciprocation. You gonna in subsequent lives and stuff like that, you're gonna hear me talk about that a lot, because you not only need, but you deserve to have reciprocation in your relationships. And a lot of times we choose based on attraction. We choose based on convenience. We choose who we bring in based on how long they've known us, based on maybe something old that they helped you with, sentimental value, nostalgia, right? Proximity. We choose sometimes friends based on proximity, or even blood, right? We a lot of times we honor blood connections over reciprocation. And if this is the only live that you tune into, what I want to leave you with is you have to choose reciprocation and energy first. You have to choose reciprocation and energy first. Not, I see some day ones in here. What's up? What's going on? Jira, I see Tara in the building. What's going on, Whitney? Whitney, definitely. You have to choose reciprocation and energy first, and that sometimes can be family. That sometimes can be, friendships that you've known, people that you've known a long time, college, whoever you meet people and different things like that. But it has to be high in the pecking order. This can't be something that is secondary, or something that comes later, or something that is overlooked. Reciprocation cannot be overlooked. Part of the problem why it's so hard to find people who are reciprocal is because you are not treating yourself the way that you want someone else to treat you. That's the first layer of movement, right? The first action has to be you choosing to be consistent, because look, a lot of things we ask for, we're not doing to ourselves. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna be real serious. A lot of what we ask for in others, we somehow forget to give to ourselves, right? And the first person we have to be consistent to is ourselves. The first person we have to pour into is ourselves, right? And we have to not only do it every now and then, do it on your birthday, we have to do it in a consistent fashion to turn the tides and to shift the patterns that you've been in. Because a lot of times the confusion comes in is that you may be a giver. You may be a giver personality. You go into relationships, you looking for You listening hard. You go on dates and all that. You liking somebody. You listening extra hard to the stuff they like, the stuff they might need, how you can help them, how you can build them, right? Your mind's going 100 miles an hour on ways that you can help and provide and support and nurture somebody, even if they're new, right? Now, this is an excellent quality to have in relationships if you are receiving the reciprocal entity or reciprocation in that other person, right? But like clockwork, most of my givers attract takers. And so I did the science on it. Just over just observation, what I found is that it's because of the extreme. It's because of the extreme nature of it, right? An over giver is not going to attract an over giver. And an over giver is going to attract an overtaker, somebody who is predicated on taking. And the way I look at it is it's two different ways of coping with abandonment. Some people cope with abandonment by becoming somebody who is like pleasure oriented or feel as though they're filling their void of abandonment by draining the energy of everybody around them. So they're starving for attention. They're starving for help and support. They can't do anything. They believe that you are the source of filling that void. Conversely, the giver feels like I can fulfill my void by my dad, my mom not being there, whatever, by giving to this other person. So you're trying to fill your voids in two opposite ways, which opposites attract and they intersect. But at the baseline, in most cases, what I found is it's abandonment in both cases. It just shows up differently, right? I say all that to say the time for accepting imbalance, the time for accepting lack of reciprocation is over. You have to be committed to not accepting anything less than what you are providing. And you know what you're providing because the people that you dated are still hitting you up. The people that didn't treat you right are still crawling, scratching at your door. People don't fiend after something that is bad. People don't kick door downs, slide in DMs, beg you to come back if you ain't got the energy. So you have the energy, you're just distributing it wrong. You're giving too much of it away and not requiring enough of it back. And the biggest thing about it is that you have to understand you deserve the energy and the support, the nourishment before anybody else. And you have to start living that way, right? And there's methods to it and things like that. I definitely hope to see you guys on at the webinar and stuff like and everything like that, because I get to break it down more deeply and get to some real scenarios and real situations. But I think this is something that as get the mindset first, right? Because a lot of times you put yourself last so fast because you've been used. Now, if you look at, I'll give you an example, right? And some of y'all gonna feel naked, seen. Let me know if you can hear me. If it sounds like it's short now. Can you guys? Am I good? Am I good connection wise? Whitney says, and not communicating what you need back. Communicating your needs is key. Absolutely. Knowing your worth. Absolutely. So, a lot of you, when you look at your schedule, when you look at like a typical day or a typical week, right? you got to ask yourself, how much of that was for you and how much of that was the rat race, or, you know, helping this person out, helping that person out, accepting a call from this person so they can vent, you know what I'm saying, from a situation, or talk about a breakup, or, you know, somebody wants you to go to this birthday, or you want to, you know, somebody or your job needs you to do this extra, or this deadline, right? You start looking at the amount of output that is non-reciprocal. Because, yeah, you're going to put in some work in this life, right? Even if you have a purpose, even if you have a business, you're going to put some work in this life. But my thing is, like, it better be reciprocal. You better receive from it. And if you can't, right, based on some, you know, you may have a job, things like that. If you can't, you better be matching that with something. Put you first. You want somebody to put you first, so you gotta show people what that look like. You know what I'm saying? So, just want to drop that on y'all, man, because I know how hard it can be to shake habits. I know how you know, time can get away from you. I know how, you know, these patterns can go, and it's a process. So what I will give to you is that, you know, stay self-compassionate, and, you know, meaning you're going to make mistakes. You're going to, you know, do certain things that are part of your pattern. But if you're committed to the person you want to become, if you're committed to the type of spouse you want to have, if you're committed to the type of lifestyle you want to have, if you're committed to the type of emotional inner fortress that you want to have, if you're committed to the type of peace that you deserve and that you want and that you're asking for, then that's a journey. And the biggest step is committing yourself to that journey. And then that's it. Everything comes after that. You will attract the how. You will start to build. You will start to learn. You will start to become more confident in yourself based on what you're able to accomplish. You got to understand, like, you know, it's you versus you. A lot of our lives have felt like the world was against us, or that we don't have control over things, or we are the victim, or we are always dealing with certain things that fall into place against us. And the thing we do have control over is us. And this is a us versus us journey. The new version can only form when we are internally divorced of the old version. If we are committed to saying, I'm doing away with the desires, the perspectives, and the actions and behaviors of the old version of me, and I'm okay with letting that version go. The version that's a perfectionist, the version that doesn't ask for help, the version that is overwhelmed all the time, the version that is overexhausted, right? The version that puts yourself in harm's way, the version that is not strongly negotiating your needs, but going below your standards just to be in connection with somebody romantically. The version that keeps friendships that are non-reciprocal just based on the fear of disconnecting with somebody, or feeling like those memories are too strong to just not deal with somebody, so we let them act however they want to act, right? This is a journey, and I want you guys to be self-compassionate, and I want you guys to make sure that you are celebrating your wins along the way. This it's not an easy thing. It's the concepts are simple, but it's not. It's a valiant effort, and I'll tell you why. Most people do not choose to change their life. Give me a thumb. Give me some kind of emoji in the chat if you know somebody who is never going to change. And I don't like to put that out there because everybody has the capacity if they choose to. But how many do y'all know people in your life who you can pretty much predict that if they're at fault, there's going to be no accountability, there's going to be no awareness of anything wrong, there's going to be justification of them doing something wrong, there's going to be no commitment to growth whatsoever. And and a lot of times we let it frustrate us, right? We let it frustrate us a lot, but as Jared said, we let it frustrate us, but we have to understand that pain is information. We have to realize that pain point is gonna keep going like this until one, we remove the expectation of them changing, because a lot of times we disappoint ourselves. A rat is a rat, and I'm not talking about none of your peoples. Your peoples ain't rat. I'm just saying an animal. If there's a rat outside, it's going to act like a rat. If there is a squirrel outside, it's going to do squirrel things. And so when we leave it at that, and we stop putting ourselves in a position to be affected by it, and stop expecting different, but protect our energy from that person using the same patterns over and over again, the blessing is we know what it is and we can walk away from it. If you walked outside right now and there was a building on fire, naturally you would stay away from it because you know the nature of fire. You know what happens when fire interacts with skin, human skin. You know what happens. You know that you would get burned, so you know, okay, based on everything that you know about the nature of fire, you would keep yourself out of harm's way. And that's the same thing you want to do as far as your energy. You want to be in a position where you protect your energy instinctively, whatever it takes. That's why I say reciprocation and energy first, not last name, not family lineage, not college, not sorority, not co-worker. The surface similarities at times that keeps us connected with people are very superficial in comparison to energy and reciprocation. You know what reciprocation looks like. Somebody gave it to you. And I could be wrong, but I've never met anybody who couldn't at least name one person that showed them that they saw them, right? That checked on them without having anything to gain from it, right? Who was invested in that person's success or in your success. And if you don't know that person, your journey is to start becoming it. And watch how people connect with you randomly, or not randomly, universally, right? Who continue that vibe. Relationships are reflections. When you date somebody, they are continuing your vibe. A lot of times we think we meet people out and this is like a new person. If you find a beyond the surface level, right? Because physical features or whatever. But if you meet somebody and you connect with somebody, and you start to liking them, and you start dating them, that person becomes a continuation of whatever you're carrying. Healed, unhealed, unsettled, indifferent, past, what fears, anxieties, anything that's in here. You are attracting a continuance. So it's basically, they call it a partner. That person becomes your either peace partner or punishment partner. One of the two. That person is going to be one of the two. And the problem is a lot of times on the back end, we get devastated by these exes and relationships and abuse and all of this stuff. And then we focus our sights on that person. And we say, men are this, women are this, because look what they do. Look how they treat you. None of them are this. All of them are this, right? And of course, that person needs to be held accountable, but once you separate from that person, the focus needs to shift on what inside of you allowed yourself to be connected to that person for this long of time and endure the rotation of energy that actually started with you, because you chose to be with the person. You chose to move forward with them. And we don't deserve to be abused. So we have to be very vigilant about what somebody is maneuvering with, what somebody's carrying, how they're talking and things like that. But the biggest thing about it, because a lot of times it can be hard to do that. The biggest thing is to create that self-love and make that the centerpiece and start practicing that. That heightens your intuitive abilities, that keeps you from choosing to make excuses for red flags, or to not see certain red flags, or to feel that desperation to connect, overriding your recognizing the red flags, right? Sometimes that can happen if you've been single for a long time. The urge can overpower things, right? So, that's where I wanted to go. But speaking of healing, man, I definitely want to discuss, put a ring on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on relationships, as some of you guys know. So, as a mental health consultant and, abandonment coach, and things like that, I've always been keen on, relationships and how important they are when it comes to either healing or sabotaging. They can do one of the two. And what I really enjoy is, number one, helping people repair after damaging relationships, but also helping people to prevent, because you can, coming off a bad relationship. Also, I help people get out of them too. That's the whole process. So if you watching right now, if you're in something, you need to hit me. You need to talk to me, right? Shoot me a DM if you in something that you know is not for you, but you're emotionally connected and wired up with this person. Definitely let me know. But also on the whole cycle. So you could either be in something, you could be out of something that was damaging and need repair and reprogramming to get you to a point where this does not happen again. Because I'm very serious about it. I say this because it's not just about heartbreak. People are losing their lives by choosing the wrong person. People are, unfortunately, it is a life or death situation. It's not like choosing a car color, you know what I'm saying, and going out with the wrong outfit. Like, if you have the wrong person and you're not healed enough to see it for what it is, or that person for what they are, something tragic could happen. So these tools, these strategies are very much important to keep you alive, keep you healthy, keep your mood up, keep you sane, keep you in an unconditional state of lifetime happiness, and to know how to maintain that and protect your energy at all costs. People are, look, this is super mandatory, to say the least. So, and even like I said before, if you're in the dating space and you're meeting people, you don't know who's what, who's lying, who's this and that. It's confusing. If the dating process is not fun, I can definitely help with that as well, because I believe it should be. And I've been watching. I'm a big fan of two shows, Put a Ring on It and Ready to Love. Right, big fan of those shows. And I do a deep dive. These shows. There's a lot to be gained, a lot to be interpreted, and a lot to be discussed. So I definitely want to discuss Put a Ring on It now, because they just had the finale or the reunion, and I don't know if you guys follow that show. Let me pull up Azura real quick. This is my own network correspondent right here. We these shows, man.
For you then.
But give me a thumbs up in the chat. First of all, if you guys watch put a ring on it.
Yeah.
If y'all follow that, definitely let me know in the chat. Jared, what's going on?
Hey,
How you feeling?
good. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Let's get, let's get right to it. So first, um, I want to get the names. I want to get the names right. I know
Right,
we
right,
got Charlena and Otis, right?
right. Yeah.
We got uh Kevin and Shorty, right?
Kenneth.
Kenneth and
Yeah,
Shorty,
Jordan.
Kenneth and
Yeah.
Shorty, and then we got
Shay and Alfonso.
right, all right, Shay and Alfonso, right? So I want to give it. I want to give the floor to you first. And overlook of the season. What are some things that kind of were highlights for you personally?
Yeah. Couples really coming in this process extremely damaged.
Yeah,
And for one couple, it was, that was it for them. She came to kind of drop him off and keep going, so to speak.
yeah,
Because that was kind of like the only way out, which to me is very toxic, and that's kind of scary when you think about it. Like, if the only way I can get rid of you is to come on a show,
yeah. We're
you
gonna
know,
talk about that because I definitely
yeah,
predicted. Yeah,
but yeah, just three couples who this is like their last resort, you know, and it's like they are on what do you call it? Like life support, basically, when they get there, and it's like, this is either gonna make or break us.
right, right. And I totally agree. I like the. I always say I like the idea of having them date other people because at first for me it felt like when I first saw it I was like, okay, this is like a ratings thing. You just trying to run up the jealousy meter so it makes like wild TV or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
um after watching it, you kind of see some people you know go all the way, right, or
Yeah,
too
yeah,
far.
yeah,
When it comes to dating other they go into bed all the way through, and then
yeah.
but other people move timid and scared, right? So they
Right.
don't really want to, when they see a little spark, they like, okay, I don't want to go on another date. I'm good where I'm at, and I always wonder, are you really good where you at? Because a lot of these people are afraid, and I can understand it, afraid of awakening something else, and then a fear that that's maybe cheating, and then that may be making them think that their partner could be doing the same thing on these other dates.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it really for the couples who are serious, it puts them in a space like where if you move a little bit fearless, you can have big benefits in the end. Because I've seen people
Absolutely.
who go right where they're supposed to go, right,
Yeah.
with the dating and stuff, and then
Yeah.
they keep it kind of classy, but they do go on multiple dates,
Right.
come back with a vengeance and say, look, I'm ready to
Mm-hmm.
change, I'm ready to move in this direction, they
Right.
were right or whatever, and they take the healing seriously. Now we're gonna go couple by couple right now, because some of this we're gonna start with, let's start with Kenneth, right?
That isn't pretty. Yeah.
Kenneth and Shorty. We
Mm-hmm.
gotta break this down because the finale showed that it exposed the dynamic even more. But I do
Yeah.
want to say for the people watching, I predicted that. But even from the first couple episodes, the way I saw Shorty moving, the way I saw Shorty how she was in the process, how she was taking the dates, right? She was kind of a little bit too excited to take the dates, and then she was kind of, there was no real love connection between them, in different spaces. And what she said in the confessional, I started putting things together early on. I said, look, she in this situation, she came here to get rid of
Yeah.
to have an audience and cameras help her to break up with dude. Like this
Yeah.
ain't got nothing to do with is it a ring on it, or is it not, right? And then so, I ended up being 100% right. It was deep when she
You did,
admitted
yeah,
it
you
too. I
were.
didn't think she was gonna admit it, and then she admitted the joint. But
Yeah, she did.
um, with him,
Hmm.
and I gotta say this. I thought about Will and Jada a little bit, because the reason I say that, she drove him out of his mind, man. Like, he
Yes,
allowed it. He allowed it, but she really did some damage to
she
him,
did.
and
She did.
drove him to, he was drinking and all that, and you saw the manipulation in her eyes when she
Yeah,
saw him drinking. That was her opportunity to have cameras see, and to be able to take that hands off her. You throw your rock, hide your hand.
yeah, yeah,
Damn, look at how he look. You crazy? Damn, you might just want to get your stuff. And getting security and restraining orders. Now,
yeah, yeah.
that's not to say that he probably wasn't calling a bunch of times, because uh, emotionally he's dysregulated. He's
Hmm.
this has done a number on him, to the point where even months after, because well, I don't know when they do that, right? But
Right.
significant time has passed, months at least,
Yeah.
and he's still on 30. Like he couldn't even really sit in the
Hmm.
seat the whole time and really get
Yeah.
himself together. And so, what are your thoughts on that couple, and just in general? I'll let you go wherever you want to go with it.
Just from the beginning, I think she knew right off that they were not on the same page or level per se, as
Yeah,
she mentioned. She says that he picks women that are out of his league, but again, she would have had to accept it in the beginning as well. So if she knew that they weren't on the same level, then she played into this as well. So
yeah,
she's partly to blame for staying in something that she knew she wasn't going to be happy or satisfied with.
right.
And then she had to do, like you say, this manipulation and almost lying to the point, because it wasn't until um the reunion that she says, "Oh, I never said that you didn't do anything." When he was like, "You just making it seem like I'm a bum and I don't do nothing, I don't work." She was like, "Well, I didn't say that, but it's like the things that you didn't say,
Yeah,
that created the problem, because you destroyed this man on TV."
right.
And
That character
it
assassination.
was upsetting to watch, to be honest. Some weeks, it just was really upsetting to watch her do that to him. It's like, you have to resort to this. Is That was just, I don't know, that was just sad.
Yeah, Keitha says she said he was stalking her the first time, and first time she tried to break up with him. And that may or may not, be 100% the way it's presented, because I see her as the type of person who exaggerates things,
Yeah.
to get people to view things a certain way, or to escape culpability, right?
Hmm.
Because there was a few key points where the host was like, "Is there anything that you have done wrong?" And then she I don't know if you heard her answer, but it
Yeah.
had nothing to do with any accountability whatsoever.
Nothing.
It was a total spin diversion to something else.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect the host to follow up, because then it would look like she pressing her. But I would have followed up with you didn't really answer that. I'm gonna need you to, because that was very indicative for me.
Yeah.
And like you said, when she was like, I like how the host checked her and was like, well, you kind of made it seem like he was a bum, like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
The fact that they brought it up, that she brought it up for her to have to explain and backpedal, because with Own, I gotta watch Own with a side eye sometimes, because sometimes they don't it's not an even presentation of things, like, and
Hmm.
a lot of times the guys can be painted out to be a certain way or
Yeah.
whatever. And so, but I like how this was evenly based. That's all I need, is for things to be. Let's look at everything that's presented. Let's not coddle anybody, and let's not
Right.
fire on nobody either. Let's just say, look, this is what we all saw. and let's all be accountable for what happened. So I did like that. But I'm well, all right, let me ask you this. Do you
Hmm.
think and we don't know this, but the other girl that was up there that I guess they trying to date now, or the little friend, oh, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Her shorty's, what is
It
that?
was
Coworker?
her. It was her intern at one point.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
What do you think of her comments about him? Because she did, the host did ask her about what she thought about Kenneth, and
Yeah.
she said some things. What do you think about what she said?
I think she was very observative. I
Yeah,
think that it really helped for somebody to come soften the blow after everything happened to kind of build him up.
yeah,
And she, she shed light on a different part of him.
yeah.
So, but she also recognized that he has some work to do. And before they could ever really dive into anything, like he would need to, like you said, get himself together after the aftermath of this. But I think she really paid attention to him and shed some light on some more positive things about him.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale too, because with just for the mentality that you can date somebody and then everything about them becomes unacceptable
Yeah,
down the line. Like so like this is cool for me to commit to moving forward with you, but then I resent you for the same things that I accepted in the beginning,
exactly. Yeah,
1, 2, 3 years
exactly.
down the line.
Because he said, like, you begged me to move from, like, he was from New Orleans. Like, you begged me to move here. I uprooted my life to come be with you, and it's like she never kind of acknowledged that part. It's like he had to probably, like you said, make a whole nother living, like job wise and whatever else. And maybe that caused some of the issues too. Maybe he was doing better where he was. And, we don't know the full story, but just the fact that that was said, it was always like he was chasing after her, but in the beginning, she was after him. So,
Right.
I'm not sure what went wrong with the job and the like the contribution or whatever, but I think what she accepted, like you said, just wasn't enough over time, and she wasn't satisfied with that. So she kept pushing and pushing, but that's not the type of person that he is. And so, she wants like I want to know what the plan is. Like, well, what is the plan? And when he can't give that to her, then it's like, okay, this is not going to work. See, like, this we're not on the same page.
Yeah, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, the overgiver and the overtaker, right? So you see in this scenario, he was the overgiver. He was the person that said, I'm gonna drop everything, I'm gonna help build you up, I'm gonna move in with you, I'm gonna contribute, I'm gonna do all of these different things, right? To make this thing work, I'm gonna give my heart, emotion, support, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she being the overtaker, it was never good enough. Nothing that he did was ever good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I know some of you guys may have been in a situation where, again, you pour everything into this relationship and it's almost like you've done nothing, like because you get treated in a way that you might as well have not given anything. You might as well
Right.
have been neglectful. You might as well have been abusive or non-communicative or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. So it's like giving into a void. This is why I always talk about just emotional voids are insatiable. You
Mm-hmm.
if you still have holes and fractures from trauma, other people can't fill those. And what
Right.
will happen is you can drag somebody, or somebody could drag you, but you can drag somebody into hell and torture that person for years of time until they lose
Mm-hmm.
their mind, get drunk, and do
Right.
cartwheels in the house
In the
because they don't know what's going on anymore. You have
right.
fried this person to the
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
where and I quote, I've never felt this free in my life. You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
she's imprisoned him over time, and he has lived in that prison until this show shook things
But
up
yeah.
and he became
Mm-hmm.
liberated. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
um and because in the end, as far as she's concerned, in the end, you know, the person who's taking from you, low key still resents you, right? So
Hmm.
you ever heard it? And I know you heard the term, but like biting the hand that feeds you, right? So
Right.
it's kind of like as supportive as, and I want you guys to listen to this too, as supportive as you can be to somebody when it's imbalanced and they are predicated and they have these voids and traumas and they're just pulling in this in taking everything that you're giving, they still hate you on a level, probably because number one, they don't respect you. Number one,
Hmm.
there's not a respect there because you're not requiring them to meet any standard, right?
Right.
Any standard of operation. I'm sure she was a lousy girlfriend in a lot of ways, like just real lazy with it, because the light was always on him. What are you
Hmm.
gonna do? What's the plan? Where's this money? Well, I'm paying for that. Well, now you ain't paying this, and you ain't paying over here. Let's go over here because that appetite is you're not able to satisfy it with another person, and he paid the price for it. But she did as well because that resentment has to go outward. So I know she resents herself on a level for putting herself in a position that she thought was going to feel something and it didn't. And
Right.
she blames him and not her. Go ahead.
And not her. And like you say, that's why I think she said she has to do some work on her because she can't even come to terms with saying that.
Yeah. Not,
Hasn't
not
gotten to that, that responsibility taken yet. And it's funny that you say he's the giver, she's the taker. In her mind, it's the other way around. She gives and gives and he takes.
well
So they
that's
have two different vantage points of what's going on.
right. And it's questionable whether she believes that or she wants to portray that.
That's true.
I
Yeah.
because I think a part of it, she know deep down, but on TV, camera, friendship, she ain't about to say none of that. It's about to be every time you see her, girl, this bum over here, he ain't doing right, and just selling tickets,
Yeah.
right? And so I felt the way. Anytime yo, I know y'all feel the same way, but anytime I see a lack of accountability, I it burns me to the core to just see it time and time again. Just see somebody just keep playing a role and trying to convince everybody that it's all over here. And we got to start to learn that if it's everybody else, if you know somebody and every time you talk to them, it's everybody else, it's everything else. It's you, damn it.
It's you.
You know what I'm saying? At
Right.
the end, at the end of the day. So yeah, let's get off that, man.
Okay.
Salute to Kenneth though. Hopefully he get him and Hollywood was talking on it. They funny, man.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
They from the same place.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that was funny. But so the next couple, we could do Otis and Charlena.
and Charlene. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on how that ended and how things,
Oh,
you
my.
know, transpired through that one?
Um, I was really, to be honest, disappointed that she accepted the ring and then to find out she was pregnant when she accepted it because I feel like that's the majority of the reason why she accepted it because he still had a lot of work to do.
I agree.
He has this he has some narcissistic tendencies and he has this demeanor that he can't be held accountable, that he doesn't see anything that he does wrong, and to walk into a marriage like that, that's dangerous. So it's still a lot of work that has to be done, and now their focus is the baby. But I just feel like if the circumstances wasn't that she may not have accepted it.
Right. No, I agree. I didn't see. I wouldn't have predicted that she would have accepted it just based on how he was, and I didn't see major growth. I heard verbally he was saying he was kind of alluding to maybe certain things that he understood later, or grasped later, but uh, yeah, I think that was a baby hope for the best
Yeah.
Hail Mary move. I think that was because you know maybe in her mind she was like, we had this baby, and also too, I want to say this too. even before that, I think sometimes the desire to have a child at a certain time can be based on trying to create physical permanence to something that you're unsure about.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and that could be on his side, it could be on her side, that could be on both. But sometimes, when it's like, all right, let's we need to we pushing for a baby, but then you get into the show and you see all these problems exposed, you like, well, that
Yeah.
ain't baby material. That's not baby environment right there.
Right. That's not an environment that you want
Everything's
to.
all
Yeah.
over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But you steady pushing
Right.
for this outcome. It seems like, okay, is that self-oriented? And are you trying to create that like permanence physically? Like we
Right.
had this kid so that I don't gotta change. I ain't gotta be all of this stuff. Dr. Nicole
Mm-hmm.
be the baby would be the anchor, and I'm gonna
Right.
come home from work and I'm gonna say what I want to say because you ain't going nowhere because I got this baby.
Right. Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
had,
Which I think fits perfectly for him.
all right,
But
yeah,
there's a lot of drama with the young lady that he dated. And it's like he wouldn't admit to anything. Everything was a lie that she said. And in my mind, I'm like, well, what does she have to gain from saying all of this stuff? She's trying to warn Charlena.
yeah. I want to. All right, so I want to ask this because not to put it past him, but I don't believe her like that. And I was watching it, and like the part of the question that was in my head was like, did they give her this like a side note to say, all right, we got to up these ratings or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think so.
Here go a little side script because what I was looking for is
Mm-hmm.
a little more conviction, and she didn't really take it far enough with the detail, like detailing things and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because was you with his car and next to the car or y'all met such and such? She didn't describe the car. She didn't give anything to allude to like, okay, this actually occurred. Like it felt like a side behind the camera note, like, all right, run these, you know what I mean? Because I was
I
looking
don't
at her
know.
face too. You think she was telling the truth?
Yeah, because I was looking at his face, and to me, he has this dishonesty about him.
He,
He'll
he
say
got
no.
Botox damn near. He just seemed, he ain't got no expressions.
I know he has a
Face,
flat at back, yes, but
but
but he just has this dishonesty about him that I can believe it. I can
okay.
believe it. And just like you said with the flat affect, like you won't know, you know
If he just killed somebody that morning, he
exactly,
look exactly the
exactly
same.
because he was asked to be honest multiple times,
Yeah, yeah,
throughout the show, and then he would automatically give an answer but have more behind it. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
that face and that demeanor, like he hides so much, like it's just dishonest to me that I think that what she said happened, like the text messages, and she was like, Charlena said, "Well, I looked at all the text messages. Well, he could have took some out though, right?"
Yeah.
It's like I looked at all the messages and it seemed like she was pushing more than him. But I mean, you can make something look like something at the same time. Like I don't trust Otis.
Yeah, and if that is true, I think that would even lead more to him trying to again establish that permanence and have that child. Because I think she said he was pushing for it, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't she say that
Oh, see, I didn't catch that.
I think she
Yeah, I
said
didn't
that. I
catch
think she said it was him that was, wanting to have a baby or whatever. Um,
yeah, maybe because of the stuff that was probably going to come out after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Now I like you. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Now I like you because she was already almost gone at one point in the season. Remember, like when she realized that he had hit a girl in the DMs, she was like, "Oh, so that's what we do." Like she was gone then, to be honest. So
Yeah.
if they took that a step further, then that there was gonna be no future for them, honestly. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you go with that theory, then I think that his that goes with the line of intentions of trying to get had a baby and stuff like that. Just
yes, and the tit for tat. Remember, he's a tit for tat. type person. So based off of who Charlena was dating, remember he would kind of do things. So I could believe that he was
Oh
doing
yeah,
some
yeah.
spiteful stuff.
He
You
was
know,
tipping
because
that. He
he
was
just
tipping
has
that.
that dishonesty about him. I believe he was doing some spiteful stuff like that.
Right now, that makes more sense because not that he was interested, but
Right.
that he was pushing. He's petty in the moment, like you know
Yeah,
what
he's
I'm
trying
saying.
to evil
Even it
even
out,
the playing field.
even it out. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, even it out.
yeah. Okay, goofy though.
Yeah.
Just goofy though. Because he the type to just do something and then not even realize that it's gonna there's gonna be consequences. Like you know, he just seemed like
Right.
a real blockheaded type of
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. Like yeah. Exactly.
To
Yeah.
where he don't really respond until she about to leave. Then it's like,
Exactly.
oh snap, let me, you know what I mean, fake crying.
Right.
Let me, I
Exactly.
know I hurt you,
Yeah.
whatever. And then when she go on another date with the other Joker, now he back playing again. Like so,
Now he back playing
I don't
again.
think he
That's what I'm
knows how to
saying.
stop that. And
Right. Because it's like, oh, she was being real disrespectful. A dude was being real disrespectful when he said this. What about what you? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't